Hello, everybody, and welcome in to today's edition of the Back Porch Sports Report. Today's episode is a player profile, a look at an influential sports figure. Now, normally when we do these, there's a mix of well-known players and some that you've never heard of. But today's edition of the player profile is a very special one, and it profiles one of the most important people in the world of sports. This episode is dedicated to John Madden. John Earl Madden was an American football coach and sportscaster. He was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders of the National Football League, the NFL, for 10 seasons from 1969 to 1978, and he guided them to a championship back in Super Bowl XI. After retiring from coaching, he served as a color commentator for NFL telecasts until 2009. While working in that field, he won 16 Sports Emmy Awards, and from 1988, he lent his name, expertise, and color commentary to the John Madden football video game, later known as Madden NFL. Let's take a deeper look into the life of John Madden as we celebrate his life after his recent passing. John Madden was born in Austin, Minnesota, to Earl Madden and Mary Madden. His father was an auto mechanic, moved the Madden family to Daly City, California, located just south of San Francisco, when John was very young. John attended Catholic partial school at Our Lady of Perpetual Help, graduating in 1959. And then he went to Jefferson High School, graduating from there in 1954. A football star in high school, Madden played one season at the College of San Mateo in 1954 before he was given a football scholarship to the University of Oregon. Studying pre-law and playing football with boyhood friend John Robinson, he was redshirted because of a knee injury and had to have a knee operation. Following that, he attended the College of San Mateo in 1955 and then Grays Harbor College, playing in the fall of 1956 before transferring to Cal Poly, where he played both offense and defense for the Mustangs in 1957, while earning a Bachelor of Science degree in Education in 1959 and a Master's of Arts in Education in 1961. He won all-conference honors at offensive tackle and was a catcher on the Cal Poly baseball team. John Madden was drafted in the 21st round with the 244th overall pick by the NFL's Philadelphia Eagles in 1958, but in his first training camp suffered an injury to his other knee, ending his playing career without having the opportunity to play professionally. During this time, Madden met his wife, Virginia Fields, in a bar in Pismo Beach, California, marrying her on December 26, 1959. They lived in Pleasanton, California, and had two sons, Joseph and Michael. Joe played football at Brown University, and Mike attended Harvard University, where he started as a receiver on the football team. Since his playing days were over, the next logical step for Mr. Madden was coaching. And he did get into coaching soon after. I actually ran across this quote from John Madden, who recounted how he had become involved in coaching. He said, quote, "I got hurt in my rookie year with the Philadelphia Eagles, a knee injury, and I couldn't play. While I was rehabbing, Norm Van Brocklin would be watching films and would explain what was happening. I ended up with a degree in teaching, and my love for football meshed with teaching," close quote. In 1960, he became an assistant coach at Allen Hancock College in Santa Maria and was promoted to head coach in 1962. Following the 1963 season, he was hired as a defensive assistant coach at San Diego State, where he served through 1966. During that final campaign in the 1966, the Aztecs were ranked among the top small colleges in the country. While at San Diego State, Madden coached under Don Coryell, whom Madden credited as being an influence on his coaching. Building on that success, John Madden was hired by Al Davis as a linebackers coach for the AFL's Oakland Raiders in 1967, putting him in the Sid Gilman coaching tree. He helped the team reach Super Bowl II that season. A year later, after Raiders head coach John Roush resigned to take the same position with the Buffalo Bills, Madden was named the Raiders head coach on February 4th, 1969, becoming, at the age of 32, professional football's youngest head coach at the time. Madden's Raiders reached and lost 5 AFC championship games in 7 years. Despite a 12-1-1 mark in 1969, the team lost 17-7 to the Kansas City Chiefs in the final American Football League championship game. 3 years later, what appeared to be a last-minute victory over the Pittsburgh Steelers instead became a part of football lore when Franco Harris' immaculate reception gave Pittsburgh a 13-7 win. Then in 1974, after defeating the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Miami Dolphins 28-26 in dramatic fashion, the Raiders lost to the Steelers 24-13 in the AFC Championship game. In 1975, the Raiders went 11-3 and lost again to the Steelers in the AFC Championship game by a score of 16-10. In 1976, the Raiders went 13-1 in the regular season and escaped the first round of the playoffs with a dramatic and controversial victory, 24-21 over the New England Patriots. In the second round of the playoffs, they defeated the Steelers 24-7 for the AFC Championship game. On January 9th, 1977, Madden's Raiders finally captured their first Super Bowl with a 32-14 victory over the Minnesota Vikings. The Raiders lost the AFC Championship game in 1977, 20-17 to the Denver Broncos. And in the following season, the Raiders failed to qualify for the postseason. That was in 1978. Following that, Madden announced his retirement on January 4th, 1979, due to an increasingly deteriorating ulcer condition and occupational burnout. Among John Madden's accomplishments as head coach was winning a Super Bowl, of course, in Super Bowl 11 in 1977, and becoming the youngest coach to reach 100 career regular season victories, a record he compiled in only 10 full seasons of coaching at the age of 42. And Madden is still the coach with the most wins in Raiders history. John Madden never had a losing season as a head coach. His overall winning percentage, including playoff games, ranks second in league history. Madden achieved his record in a period that included head coaches Tom Landry, Don Shula, Chuck Noll, and Bud Grant, who are generally regarded as the top coaches of the era. One of the most well-known stories involving John Madden, especially during his transition from coaching into the broadcasting booth, was his aversion to flying. Madden's aversion to flying was well known, although his fears were not realized until many years into adulthood. He had lost people close to him in the October 29, 1960 California Polytechnic State University football plane crash that claimed the lives of 16 players, the team's student manager, and a football booster. However, it wasn't until 1979 that he had his first panic attack on a flight originating in Tampa, Florida. He never flew on a plane again. Madden, however, stated once in an interview that his fears were not of turbulence, flying, or heights, but primarily claustrophobia. And for a big man, I guess I could understand that. Later on, during his Saturday Night Live hosting appearance in the early 1980s, a short film aired depicting Madden making the journey from New York City to host SNL by train. In the mid-80s, Madden was a frequent rider on Amtrak's Lakeshore Limited. Amtrak let the famous customer use the dining car at any time. However, beginning in 1987, Greyhound Lines supplied Madden a custom bus and drivers in exchange for advertising and speaking events. Dubbed the Madden Cruiser, the coach bus sponsors over the years include Walker Advantage Muffler and Outback Steakhouse. And as we find out later, it was for this reason that Madden never did commentary for the Pro Bowl, which was held in Honolulu during the entire years of his broadcasting career. Likewise, Madden never called any postseason games or preseason games held outside of North America, even when his play-by-play partner was on the telecast. As a side note as well, Madden actually found an unexpected use for his bus in New York City after the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks, when he provided transportation for former ice skating champion Peggy Fleming, whose flight home to Los Gatos, California had been grounded. And as a funny side note, in Madden's aversion to flying, his wife, Virginia, actually took flying lessons. Now, while most people remember John Madden as a television broadcasting star, he actually got his start in broadcasting calling in to radio stations. One such example of this was calling in to longtime San Francisco radio personality, the Emperor Gene Nelson's show on station KYA in the 1970s while coaching the Raiders. He followed Nelson when he moved to station KSFO, and the call-ins continued even into Madden's coaching retirement. Madden actually later made appearances on KNBR. In 1997, he began calling into the radio station KCBS 5 days a week at 8:15 in the morning Pacific time. This actually continued through Thanksgiving of 2015 when he ceased calling due to heart surgery and other health concerns. He began twice calling into KCBS again in 2017 on Mondays and Fridays. He stopped making regular radio show call-ins in August of 2018, citing the desire to remove any obligations to his schedule. Now let's move on to what a lot of people today know him for, and that is his television broadcasting. That actually started with CBS Sports. Madden joined the CBS company as a color commentator in 1979. After working some lower-profile contests during his first years, he was elevated to the network's top football broadcasting duo with Pat Summerall in 1981, replacing Tom Berkshire. Prior to teaming with Summerall on CBS, Madden was paired with a variety of announcers such as Vin Scully, Dick Stockton, Frank Gilbert, and Gary Bender. But like most people, the one that I remember the most was Madden and Summerall. That team would go on to call 8 Super Bowls together. On occasions in which Summerall was unavailable, which during CBS years, Summerall was normally scheduled to commentate for the U.S. Open tennis tournament during the early weeks of football season, Madden would team up with the likes of Vin Scully and Vern Lundquist. On their final CBS telecast together, which was the 1993 NFC Championship game on January 23, 1994, Madden told Summerall that while CBS may no longer have the NFL, at least they had the memories. As we move into the next phase, when the Fox network gained the rights to the NFC games in 1994, CBS employees became free agents. Madden was the biggest star in football broadcasting at the time, and Fox, ABC, and NBC made offers higher than the $2 million per year maximum for the sportscaster's salary. NBC's owner, General Electric, offered to make Madden its worldwide spokesperson, and GE Rail would build him a luxury train. After he almost joined ABC, Madden and Summerall joined Fox's NFL coverage, giving the network credibility to broadcast what Rupert Murdoch called the crown jewel of all sports programming in the world, the NFL. Madden's contract paid him more annually than any NFL player. However, Fox was reportedly losing an estimated $4.4 billion on its NFL contract for the 8-year deal it signed in 1998, and it had been trying to cut costs to its programming as a result. Madden's Fox contract would have